不拿进了两刚好，第一次这个天去很难耶。这个觉得比较堵。他讲美术习惯等于他这个觉得比较堵。
Chapter 6。
Chapter 5。哪里我没去读东西？
你讲第5课。
比较堵。
我今天要读。
对啊，说那习惯等于我可以接着读，所以我就去了解。
还有 use case 那些。
下辈子。
可能你放在最后读啊。其他的手。
Chapter 新的 Chapter 7比较专注。Chapter 4或者干嘛？要读4那么多，因为都考到了。Chapter 5。最好这个读不多。不是考试很难，他因为有读多了。
我摸吧。
因为有读多了。他那个老师又对着那个 slide 念到完了。你知道我讲完这个？在 exam。
做 final。
做 final 是。
做 final。pass 也可以做。
他拿 final 就是跟我们那个一样，是只差变结果。
So, so today morning we're gonna talk about past year questions. So, can everyone move forward so that I don't have to use mic and then we can just make a discussions right in front.
Discussion.
Okay, come and gather at the center here. So I'm going to tell you what you need to prepare, how you need to answer, and what you need to focus on. Only for those who come today. You only move like 3 rows down here. Come on, a little bit more. Come here. Come in front here. If you don't come down here, next day if you want to ask questions about past year, then it's hard for me to hear what you want to ask.
没有人。
So we're gonna go through the first past year question here from let's go with this one instead. So we go with the older version one first. Alright, you may go through the case scenario here.
Small and medium enterprise.
Okay, you all go through the case scenario first, huh? I give you 2 minutes. Then we'll go through the questions. You see, if you see that, okay, done? Done? Or you take 1 more minute? Right, ready to? So you can see most of our questions for exam will give you a case scenario, right? Then from that, you have to answer the questions. So some questions may ask you to be based on the case scenario. So you have to answer based on the case scenario. But when it doesn't mention anything, then you can just give your own words to answer that type of question. Okay? So let's go through the first question now. So in here, question 1A, explain and provide suitable justifications on how SME coder mobile apps would utilize 3 data saving methods. Right? So in here, it asks you how the SME coder mobile app can use the data saving. So when you explain, you have to put in an example. Right? So for instance, we have 3, right? I'll give you one. Database or SQLite. So a database is a suitable method to store multiple records. So these are the keywords. Store multiple records with support effective structured data management. Okay. So a local database maintained by the mobile devices could be used to store records related to the lesson plan, exercise, learning materials, log file, etc. These records and files enable users to learn outside the virtual classroom. Okay? So you see, the first part is for you to explain what it is. So you explain or define what is database or SQLite. And then later on, you have to give example of how the company can use it in their own mobile apps in that case study, right? So this is one example. Okay. Anyone else want to try? We have two more. One is data file and share preference. So you can try, and I can let you know how you answer is whether it's correct or not. I won't give you marks on this instance. I'll just tell you what you need to expand more. Shall we use Google Jamboard? Yes? But I won't use the usual one, because this one I count it as bonus for those who come today. So I keep it for you all. Can I? Or you want to share with your friends also? Since you have the efforts to come here, so let's. So I'm not gonna share this link to our group. So let me just have
Nothing.
what's the link? Very long. Any idea? So that I can actually look at your answer also. Open Google Meet. Open Google Meet. Go inside. You don't have a QR code on.
流星期六我会晒，
啊？
流星我会晒，捐 QR code。
究竟为啥？
有些菜可以直接就是丢进去，然后传 QR code 给你。
哦，跟我讲。
对，他就在做坏人。
老师自己讲，需要我们自己。
So you go to your Google Meet and get the link.
哦，我懂那个人的意思。这样快吗？这么明显的还是好事。
它是一点，比较专业的感觉。对，快了，看他的专业。
Okay, everyone in?
So fast.
So all set, huh?
就多么点。
Okay.
给我来个口水。给我继续写。其实。
Everyone in?
对对对。
Can I?
嗯。新 QG。
Okay, got it, huh?
是的。
我是是。你懂吗？哦，还是东西。
是的，是太巧。
So let's go to our discussions now. Right, so just now I already give you SQLite, right? So I want someone else to give me the remaining two, shared preference and data files. Move a bit up. Okay, if the first page here is not enough space, you can actually do it on the second page. Doesn't matter. Just let me know if you have to put it in the second page. Okay, so we have one here, data file. So data file is for saving large files such as image, video, audios, and many more into the phone. For example, tutorial video on how to use the no-code platform. Okay. Right. So yes, this is an acceptable answer because you define what is data file, right? So what you say is you can actually say learning materials could be in the form of data files. Data files could be in the form of text, animations, sound, and videos, right? So then these data files could be stored in any formats or extensions, right? You can mention this as well. And at the end, you can say this file could be large in size, right? And you can actually store it in external storage and so on. Okay, so this is actually a okay answer. Then we have one more. Share preference are typically used to store small amount of key value. You don't have to say small amount. You just say used to store key value pairs, right? So you don't have to say small amount. You just say key value pairs such as preferences, settings, and simple data. Could use share preference to. Okay, not complete yet. This one. To what? So when we want to use share preference, right, it can actually be used to store a lot of data that is doesn't require structure. So it means that only key value pair, right? So then it allows you to read and write persistent key value pair, right, of primitive data types. What is primitive data? Yes. Okay, boolean, string, integers, and so on. Then for the example, you can say that user app account information like the one that you have, preferences, user preferences, user login data, profile, file location, etc. All these can be stored using shared preferences. Okay, good. So shall we move on to question number 2?
Sure.
So question number 2 here, discuss how SME coder could use internal and external storage. Internal and external storage. What is internal? What is external? So if you are talking about internal, means that it's only for the app's usage, right? Okay, so external is where it's actually removable. Okay, can you give an example? Let me just give you an example for internal. So over here, you can say internal storage refers to directories include both dedicated locations for storing persistent files or page data. The system prevents other apps from accessing these locations. So this is for internal, right? So these characteristics make these locations a good place to store sensitive data that can only be used by your apps, right? In the case of this app data contains structured records, okay, which should be only accessible by the app itself. Okay. By default, the system stores structured data in internal storage. For example, the data that we store in internal storage are progress made, lesson transactions files, login, and etc. Okay. Because internal storage itself is secure, so other apps cannot access to your internal storage. So this is the best place for you to store your sensitive data. Okay. Right. How about external? Anyone want to try? you can elaborate a little bit more. So this is, for me, this is just to explain what internal storage is for, right? After that, then you can put an example of how it can be used to, in this case scenario here, right? External storage, anyone? So how you all move it on? So external storage, it can be used to store files that are accessible by everyone. For example, the tutorial videos of no-code platform. Alright. External storage devices are commonly available in the form of flash. Okay. So this one, if you say of flash drive, USB, CDs, and DVDs, these are not related to our mobile. Okay, the most we have is the SD card. Those are external storage. Okay, it's not possible for us to use CD on our mobile app, right? So when you answer, you have to give suitable answers for your mobile application developments, right? Not others, huh? So then we have external storage can be used to store user-generated contents like photos, videos. Okay, right. So in here, these two, the answer, okay, can be accepted, right? You can say this storage includes both a dedicated locations for storing persistent files and cache data. It is possible for another app to actually access these directories. Okay, you just memorize what is not memorize, just go through some of the things that is related to external storage. Okay, like I mentioned just now, people can actually access to your data with proper permissions. If you specifically intend to create files that are that other apps could be able to access, then you need to actually store these files in the shared storage part of the external storage, right? So that external storage actually removable, right? So if it is removable, what happened to the data store in this external storage? Is it available every time, always available? Not really, right? If that the external data device be taken out, then your data will be gone. Okay, so this one also you can put it into your explanations. So then for the example itself, you can say that external storage could be used to store learning materials, right? The one that we have here, learning materials, all these are correct. Okay, like text, animation, sounds, videos, or some of these files, because some of these files could be big in size, right? Okay, any questions? Oh, okay. All right. So let's move on. Okay, question C. Most mobile apps consist of two different tracks, UI and background. In your opinion, is there a need for the apps to implement a background, implement the background track? Justify your answer. So what do you all think?
Yeah.
Yes or no? You have one yes, yeah? What is the use for background tracks? To get long running processes running from the away from the UI tracks. So what are the processes that will actually take a long time? In this case, this is a learning app, right? So you will have what? You have PDF, you have videos, you have sound. These are all big in size. So if you run this in the UI track, what happened? Your app will become non-responsive, right? So when you answer this question, you can say yes, the background track is necessary for this app. The app needs to process data in the background so that it is responding to a user, and is a must for most mobile operating system. So this background track, you can say something like, okay, downloading the learning materials, right, should be run on the background tracks. Okay, because they are big in size, and it will not be actually jamming up your UI tracks. Right? You can explain it in this way. So, discuss 2 UI tracks suitables for the apps. So UI track, you can just mention about what are the components, right? You can say about registration component. You can talk about what else? Okay, and anything that is actually on the UI itself, right? Like getting a response from the user, okay? Registration, just how I mentioned, and then another one is perhaps getting quiz, done your quiz, do your quiz. All those are UI, can be done on the UI tracks. Any questions? Okay, right, move on. So most modern mobile apps communicates with a back-end server to perform complex operations. Discuss the relationship of SME coder and SME center. Provide suitable example of tasks performed by SME coder and SME center. Okay, so this one SME center. Okay, so this one here, I'll just give you an example. So you can say here, coder is a mobile client or front end of the system, right? It provides UI to collect data from your user. Also, it is the UI to present data to the user. So if you recall back what we are talking about here, the backend servers and relationship, we have front end, API, and then the backend, right? So front end communicate with the backend using API. Right? So then you can explain it in here. So example of task to record user registration information and send data to the backend server for verifications. Then for SME Center, it's a backend server for SME coder. It serves as a host for application programming interface, which is the API, which perform data management. So what can be done in SME Center is to store user registration information and to verify user login data. So those are backend. Okay, just recall back when you are doing your what we call your assignment, right? So your assignment itself, you will have database, especially the remote one. So those are backend. Okay. Right. So discuss the suitable server options for SME Center. Justify your answer. So what do you think? How many server options do we have? We have DIY, we have subscriptions, and then mix, right? 3, yeah? So in here, what should you suggest for this one, SME Coder and SME Center here? DIY? Because this is actually a learning apps. So your user may fluctuate according to some certain times. Okay, when this happen, if you don't scale your server properly, you will have a lot of lagging time. Okay, are you going to handle this one? If let's say you are in SME coder and SME center positions, are you going to scale it on your own? Then you will have a dedicated team to do this, just for the server. So then what can we use? A subscription-based backend server, right? So you have to, when you look at all these type of questions, you have to analyze, okay, what's the problem that they are facing? How many users are they talking about? Right? Okay, then how is the usage of the apps when it comes to user? What I mentioned just now is, I say certain time you will have a lot of user, okay, and user need to keep on interacting with your mobile app. So means that your usage fluctuation is very high. Okay, it's not on a steady ground basis. So when you fluctuate it like that, you have to make sure that your server can handle it. Okay, so to avoid handling all this, you can actually just use subscription based, because like Google, Huawei, all this will actually enable what we call that. You can adjust, right, accordingly. They even have a section for you to control which time of the day you can reduce the resources, right? You can see how many users on certain time, then you just increase the resources on that particular time, right? So a subscription-based backend server, it is under the infrastructure as a server, infrastructure as a server, okay, in which computers infrastructures provisions and managed over the internet. So this is feasible options because the system capabilities could be easily expanded if there is a surge of traffic, like what I mentioned just now, okay, or storage space requirements. Besides, this approach is usually more cost effective and has low initial investment compared to DIY and mix and match, right? So at the end, you can also compare a little bit with the other two options, okay, why it is more suitable. So when it says justify your answer, you have to answer like the way I've mentioned just now. Like you have to make a slight comparison between the other methods. Not say a long one, but a slight comparison, say, oh, why? Okay. Okay, so move on. Location aware is one of the unique features of mobile apps, right? Discuss a location strategy suitable for the implementation of SME coder in terms of accuracy, frequency, and latency. So this one, if you recall back in our lecture, right? Based on this accuracy, frequency, and latency, you can actually
available on this iPad.
Okay.
Video
Okay. So when we say accuracy, right?
video.
What are the settings that you want to do? Okay. So here you can actually say low power or no power. The aim is to consume the minimum power. Therefore, location accuracy is less important. Right. So with no power, the app may also obtain location data from another app which has permission from the user. Okay, you check back what is the options that you have for accuracy, frequency, and what we call that, latency itself. So for frequency, you can say you will use low frequency because the frequency of the location gathering is low and should be minimum. The app may only request for location data when it is launched, right? So then the interval at which the location is computed for the app could be low because the user are not expecting to carry the device and travel in high speed, right? Then latency, we put high latency. The duration in which the app perform location gathering should be long. The app doesn't immediately need locations update when it is launched, as the aim of the system is to maximize battery consumptions. This is the keyword. The app itself want to maximize what? Battery consumption. Why? Why do we want to maximize the battery consumptions? If you compare, right, a learning materials, a learning apps, is the locations of the user important? No, right? It's not important. It's not what we call navigation apps. Okay, so that's why everything is low. You want to make sure that the battery is able to run longer. That way, the user can actually interact with your app longer. Right? So again, you see, when you answer this kind of question, is looking at the problem, tackle what they have, right, and apply it accordingly. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Okay. So in the context of Android, the two types of location permissions are foreground locations and background locations. So which location permission is suitable for SME coder? Justify your answer. So foreground locations, the system may contain the features that receive location information only once. So for a defined amount of time, this foreground location forces users to keep the app UI visible, and the app could raise user awareness by showing persistent notifications. Alright. So with these foreground locations, the user must allow the system to obtain a location data before proceeding to the next task. Means that when you start, right, you just get the location data, that's all. So we need to run it on a foreground. Okay, so let's move on. So this one over here, most mobile devices have built-in sensors that measure motion, orientation, locations, and various environmental conditions. Discuss 3 sensors that could be used to enhance your experience of SME coder. So how to answer this kind of questions? Give your sensors or hardware. You have to see the question carefully, because sometimes I think you all just do the past year, and then when you see this question, wow, very eager to write everything down. No, you have to see carefully, because sometimes it may ask sensors or hardware, not just sensors. Okay, so you need to put in sensors or hardware that is usable in terms of the case scenario that you're talking about. So here, what are the sensors that we can use? It's a learning material. So what are the things that you want to concern on? Voice. Right, someone? Do you need to make sure that the light around is sufficient? Because you need to make sure that the screen is actually bright enough for the user to look at. So maybe light sensors. Okay, what else?
Position.
Maybe also a biometric sensors. Okay, facials, or although this is not an important apps, but you can also put in some of relevant hardware or sensors. Okay. Right, so I move on. What is the app distribution channel used by the developer of SME coder? So what should they use? Distribution channel. We have how many? 3. We have 3. One is the market, right? Google Play Market. 2 is through websites, or the last one will be emails. So what do you think? We should use which one?
Google Play.
You want more user, right? You want more user to use this, so market. Right? So you need to explain why market or the one that you choose to use. Okay, so in this context, right, you can actually use 2. One is the market, and another one is your websites, web server, right? Okay, so let's move on. So Android Go. Okay, no more. 2 questions. Oh, this one is old one, so that's why only 2 questions. Okay, so Android Go Editions is a special version of the Android operating system designed for entry-level phones. In your opinion, is it appropriate for SME coder to target Android Go? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes, right? Why?
More.
So many SMEs may be of tight budget, so therefore it's important for the app to be able to execute well in all mobile devices. Okay, be it high performance or entry-level models. Android Go is suitable for low cost and entry-level mobile devices, which translate to low cost of ownership and high acceptance rate among SME. Okay. So discuss the monetizations model appropriate for SME coder. What do you think? Subscription based. Okay. Any other? Any other?
Free access to the main content only. Other
Premium.
maybe.
Is it?
Maybe got the premium.
Okay, we have subscription based, we have premium, right? It's okay for you to specify this answer, but you have to justify it. So if let's say you say subscriptions, so what are your justifications on using subscriptions? It must be valid. Okay. So over here, if you say subscriptions, right, you have to say some SME centers, okay, they can pay a small amount of fees to access to different type of materials. So from that, your monetization can come in. Okay, or you say freemium. So if you say freemium, how are you going to generate income for this app? Is it a must for you to generate an app for this app itself? If yes, then maybe you can put advertisement, right? Premium plus a bit of advertisement, and of course you say maybe you let them try a bit of the courses, learning materials, and then they just need to top up a little bit of money to buy the contents. Okay, actually premium subscription, at the end there are some materials that you want people to buy, right, to generate income. Unless this question itself from the case study here is it mentioned on for charity. If this is for charity, what should you use? Totally premium. Okay, it depends on the case scenario. You have to go through. Okay, so that's all for this one. Any questions you would like to ask? All understand? Okay, right. So would you all want to go for one more? It's actually quite similar one. You all want to go for one more, or that's all? You all can get the So what we are doing now, right, is what you are going to have a similar feeling of your exercises. Okay, so those recording ones can off first. It's not like what I can tell you is to focus on certain, like the one that we have, we go through this one. The chapters that you are going to get in your questions is very similar, right? Like data saving, like you need to explain what is view models, etc. Right? And just now also you see locations. Okay, so go through again on this past year. Okay, go through again and see how the way your location service can be asked. Right? Then of course you also need to know, just now we mentioned about permissions, right? Okay, so you need to know, okay, location service, what are the permissions and so on. Then we have hardwares. Hardwares chapter itself, you have to go through in detail, right? Go through in details. Distributions methods, and also the monetizations, the one that we just gone through. Okay, I repeat again now, you have to base on the questions, the case scenario, and then you answer accordingly. So what you must do is not memorize the thing word by word, but to understand how it is being used. Okay, and you can also look at the preparations for you to launch the apps, like the developers, programs, policies. What else? You have steps to prepare, right, for launching. So those are the things that you can actually read on. Okay? Can I? Right. Any questions? I hope you all can prepare well. When is the exam for this one? 20th. So you still have quite some time. Almost the last day. Last day, is it? Yes. Okay. I don't know why every time I prepare the last day. Okay. So you still have time. So go through the slides. For you, like what you mentioned, my slides very compact, right? You don't have a lot of words. You just need to understand the concept, right? Go through it. Just like, but the developer program policy there, you have to refer back to the actual one from the website. Okay, let's go through it. Okay. So any other questions? No questions, then your attendance is here if you still want it. Your attendance good.
然后你要，我觉得还要我们写，就是我们写 example 去，看错，可以要重复一
Okay.
次。
So this is the last week, so that's the end of our lecture. Right? I appreciate those who consistently coming to my lecture class up. I can see some of the faces. I can see you all every week. Okay, I appreciate you coming, and I hope you all can do well in the exam. So don't worry about your coursework. It should be no problem if you have get everything done. Right? I'll post out your all the course mark add up together once everyone has finished presenting. Hopefully Saturday we will have presentation also. So hopefully by Sunday night I can get everything done. Okay, right? So thank you everyone. So those who are preparing for presentations, prepare well. Okay, I'll see you in your presentation. Okay, thank you. Bye.